A very good morning to all of you. Welcome to class 11th Business Studies. You all know that we were doing the chapter Formation of a Company, where we have already studied that how a company is being formed. Depending upon whether the company is a private or a public company, we have learned that what are the necessary stages which are required to form a company, right? For example, if I talk about a private company, then we don't require all stages to form the company. Like to form a private company, there is requirement of only and only two stages in the formation. The two stages in the formation, the first two stages which are required to form a private company are basically the first one, which is the promotion stage, and the second one, which is the incorporation stage. When we talk about the promotion stage, we basically talk about that stage in which a promoter conceives an idea, right? We have already done it, in which a promoter conceives an idea that he wants to start a company. Then he basically collects all the required material which should be there to start a company. Several documentation is to be done, that is also being done by the promoter, so that the documentation would be completed. He will be able to file that documentation to ROC. Who is ROC? ROC is registrar of companies. So he'll file all the documents to registrar of companies, and if registrar of companies finds out that the documents which have been filled by the private company promoter are absolutely fine, then the ROC registers the name of that company in its registers, which is known as incorporation stage. So the first two stages are only required to form a private company. But what if it is a public company? But in that case, it requires two more stages, which we had already completed in the last class. First was the third stage was the capital subscription stage, and fourth is the commencement of business stage. Actually, what happens is the private company does not deal with the public. It doesn't issue the shares to the public, so it doesn't require to go for stage 3, that is the capital subscription stage or commencement of business, because the private company is not dealing with the public, so it can just start its own business just by having two stages, that is stage 1 and 2. So as soon as the private company gets the certificate of incorporation from the ROC, it can definitely start its own business without having any involvement of any third party. There is no requirement of involvement of any third stage or any next stage. It can just start its own business by having after having the certificate of incorporation. But when it is a public company, definitely there is requirement to be done, because it has to issue the shares to the public. So ROC and of course the company's law that wants that there should not be any problem which should be created with the public. That's why transparency should be maintained in issuing the shares to public and raising the funds from them. That is why the third stage, that is capital subscription, is also being done by the company, public company. And of course, after that, it has to take the fourth, that is the commencement of business. Once the certificate is being taken, of course, the public company will also be formed. So I told you that the stages of company's formation, a private company has only two stages to complete. And after the two stages, the first promotion and the second incorporation, it can start its own business, right? But for a public company, there is a requirement to fulfill with more stages. That is the third stage, capital subscription, and the fourth stage, commencement of business. So we have already studied in detail all four stages. So today we are concluding this chapter. We will be now completing this chapter because all the topics have been completed, and so that we can start the chapter number 3 from the next class. So in today class, I'll be taking one or two topics still which are left from this chapter. Otherwise, we have completed all the topics of this chapter. First stage we did is the promotion. The one who conceives the idea to start a company, he collects all the material, he basically makes all the documentation which is required to form a company, and the one who is doing all such thing is known as the promoter, right? But what is the position of promoter in a company? Is the promoter owner of the company? Is the promoter director of the company? Or is the promoter trustee of the company? Please let me know in the chat box. What is the position of promoter in a company which he wants to form? Is he a trustee? Is he a director? Or is he a owner? Definitely the answer is absolutely correct. Many answers I've got in the chat box, but director is not the right answer, Mridul. The right answer is the trustee. I told you the position of promoter is trustee because he is playing a trustworthy role in the company. वो एक trustworthy role company में play कर रहा है because he is making contract for the company based upon trust. So definitely he is a trustee of the company. His position is trustee. He has to do a lot of functions. He has to perform a lot of functions, like he has to conceive the idea, then he has to check whether the idea would be feasible or not. For this, he has to go for feasibility studies, right? He has to go for the technical feasibility, financial feasibility, or economic feasibility study. Then he has to go for the name approval. Name approval means whatever would be the name of the company, he has to decide whether the name of the company, what should be the name of the company. But keeping in mind that the name of the company should not be existing, should not be matching with the any existing company. It should not match with any of the existing company. Side by side, the name of the company should be such which is not creating any problem to for anyone. Like it should not reflect the name of any national symbol or name of any national personality. So it should be a different name which is not matching with the existing name, right? Then he has to fix up the signatories. He has to appoint the directors, that who will be the proposed directors of the proposed company, so that the proposed directors will definitely be making the doing the signature on the documents to be maintained. Then he has to appoint the professionals also. I told you that many professionals are required to form a company. For example, we require a company secretary, we require a chartered accountant, we require a lawyer, we require a banker. Yesterday we have already learned that we require those brokers also, underwriters also. So all these people have been appointed to be appointed by the promoter only, because promoter is the one who is taking care of the company before it is maintained. So definitely promoter has to appoint all these people also. Then we studied that he has to make the necessary documents, because he has to make the necessary documents and have to file all these documents to the ROC. Who is ROC? Write in the chat box, please. Who is ROC? Very good. Arush, Disha, Daksh, Sneha, Shraddha, Rishi, Harshi, Hardik, Bhumi, and so many answers. ROC is registrar of companies. Registrar of companies. Registrar of company means the one who registers the company, means who has been given the power to register the other company is known as registrar of companies. So in the first stage, promoter has to work a lot. For whom? For the registrar of companies. Why? Because he has to arrange all the documents, he has to arrange all the material and have to submit it to the ROC. Then there comes the second stage. But what all documents the promoter have to make? I told you, he has to make the memorandum of association, articles of association, consent of proposed directors, agreements if any, statutory declaration, payment of fees. This is the complete work to be done by the promoter. These are the complete documents which have to be made by the promoter. Once the documents are made and handed over to the ROC, the job of promoter is finished, because promoter has done what he was required to do. Now the next job comes for the ROC. Now it's up to the ROC that he would be handling over, he would be taking care of the documents, he would be checking out that whatever documents have been made by the ROC, made by the promoters, are all these documents complying with the company's law? Are all these documents matching the need which should be there for the company's law? Are all these documents are transparent enough to be trusted upon? So all these things are to be checked by the ROC. If ROC sees, yes, the documents which have been made by the promoter are matching the law, are as per the company's law 2013, are definitely uh, are made in such a way which was required. So in that case, what ROC will do? ROC will register the name of the company in its registers. And once ROC registers the name of the company in its registers, that means the company is formed. The company is formed. And when the company is formed, जब company बन गई है, ROC issues the certificate of incorporation to the company. ROC issues the certificate of incorporation to the company. And what is the certificate of incorporation? Certificate of incorporation is the birth certificate of the company, which ultimately justifies that the company have been formed. All right. So let us see that what all documents are to be made by the promoters. We did that very first document the promoter have to do is memorandum of association. Memorandum of association, which is the charter document, which is the principal document, which is the main document. It contains 6 clauses. पढ़ा था हमने. It contains 6 clauses. Six major clauses are written in MOA, like name of the company, name clause, then a domicile clause or situation clause or registered office clause, that where will the registered office of the company will be located. Then within 30 days they have to mention, once the company is formed, within 30 days they have to mention the exact address in the MOA in the registered office clause. Otherwise, at the time of making the document, they can just write that in which place, in which state the company is going to be formed. The exact address can be given afterwards once the company will be formed. Third clause written in MOA is object clause, that what will be the object of the company, what will be the main objectives, and what will be the other objectives. Fourth clause is written is liability clause. Liability clause means what should be the liability of the members. Of course, that should be the limited only, because if I have purchased the share of Reliance Industries for rupees 1000 each, and I've purchased only one share, so definitely how much I'm liable to pay to the Reliance Industries? 1000 only. If I have paid 700 already, then I would be paying only 300 more. That means my liability is limited in nature. So the member's liability is always limited. So that is written in the liability clause of MOA. Then capital clause. Capital clause means with what amount of capital the company is going to start. And association clause. In association clause, all the proposed directors, proposed क्यों बोला मैंने, because अभी company have not been formed, so directors are not final. So all the proposed directors are going to sign the association clause, and they are going to give the declaration that they have a stake in the company and they have purchased the qualification shares of the company, right? So after that, the second documents to be formed by the promoter is articles of association. I told you articles of association are basically the law, the rules and regulations of the company. They are basically the bylaws internal for the internal management of the company. Whatever rules and regulations are required, that is written under the articles of association. Every company need not to make the articles of association. Like there is one table A also, which have been made by the Companies Act 2013. If suppose a company is not making its own articles of association, the public company uh, may adopt the table A also, which is the ready-made AOA given by the ROC or company's law. फिर तीसरा हमने बोला था कंसेंट ऑफ प्रपोज डायरेक्टर. मैंने आपको बता दिया कि वो क्वालिफिकेशन शेयर खरीदेंगे, उसकी कंसेंट देनी है प्रमोटर ने, एग्रीमेंट करने हैं जिन जिन लोगों के साथ चाहिए, एंड लीगल डेक्लेरेशन दैट ऑल द डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैव बीन कंप्लाइड विद द लॉ, and it should be signed by the directors also. He will be paying the fees to the ROC, and once the fees is being paid, all the documents will be filed. The company can come into the position of incorporation. So incorporation stage, where the incorporator, that means the ROC, registers the company in its registers. So this is of course very important stage, because with the incorporation only the company would be able to get the birth certificate. And after that, getting the birth certificate, that is certificate of incorporation, the private company can start its working. Okay. The private company can start its working, but for the public company, again, there are two more steps to be done. This is the look of the certificate of incorporation, which is the birth certificate of the company. This is the specimen. Then what is the effect of certificate of incorporation? But this is the birth certificate, and from the date which is mentioned on the certificate of incorporation, the company would take the birth. Even if the ROC has written the wrong birth date, then also whatever date is mentioned on certificate of incorporation, from that date, company can enter into the valid contracts, because company has now been formed. The company have taken the birth, right? Then the third stage is the capital subscription stage. Can you please tell me for whom this third stage will matter? Third stage will matter for whom? Which companies? Yes, only public company, because private company need not to perform any third or fourth stage. So public company is required, of course, to go for the third and fourth stage also before it starts working. So third stage is capital subscription. This is the stage where the company wants to raise the funds from the public. And for that, company needs to perform various things. That is in the third stage, capital subscription. What is in the third stage? First of all, the company needs to go to the SEBI. SEBI is the Securities Exchange Board of India, where SEBI has to take, company has to take the SEBI approval, whether company can be easily can be easily, it can raise the funds from the people or not. If SEBI approves, then company has to make the prospectus and file the prospectus with the registrar of companies. I told you what is prospectus. Prospectus is basically the complete document of the company, which has the complete information of the company. Then go for appointment of bankers, brokers, and underwriters. This so we have already done in last class only, so you must be remembering this. The company has to appoint the bankers, has to appoint the brokers, and also the underwriters. Why bankers are appointed? Bankers are appointed so that the application money can be collected by the bankers only. The bankers can collect the money where the people will apply for the shares. Then brokers who will help the company to issue the shares to the public, and underwriters. Can anybody tell me who are underwriters and how they help the company? Raise your hands, please. Who are underwriters and how they can help the company? Okay, Sneha, you want? Yes, Sneha, unmute yourself.
Sir, underwriters, because company needs a minimum subscription of 90%. If people are not able to subscribe their shares till 90%, and 80% of shares only public are subscribed to, then underwriters take that 90% of shares so that company can be approved by the minimum subscription.
Yes, because there is a need to get the minimum subscription at the time. Minimum subscription is basically that 90% of the application must be received by the company. For example, if Reliance Industries Limited is going to issue the shares to the public for rupees 1 crore, then definitely public must at least apply for 90 lakhs shares. If suppose the public has applied for 75 lakhs shares only, then the rest 15 lakh shares can be basically issued to underwriters, so that can be done. So next is in the capital subscription is minimum subscription. Check out the minimum subscription, whether you have received the minimum subscription or not. If you have received it minimum 90%, तब तो बढ़िया है. Underwriters appoint किए हुए थे तब भी बढ़िया है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. लेकिन अगर ऐसा लगता है कि minimum subscription have not been received and underwriters were also not appointed, in that case abhi kya hoga? Again you have to print a new prospectus, again you have to go to ROC, again you have to do it from the first stage, not promotion and incorporation stage, but from the this third stage wala capital subscription dobara se karna padega aapko, theek hai? Then minimum subscription, once you have checked, after there is the application to stock exchange. You have to go to the stock exchange, apply there, register your securities there, tell them that you want to apply this fund, you want to raise the fund, you want to provide the money, issue the shares to the public, and accordingly that can be done. Sanjay, your camera is not visible. Swayam and Sanjay, sit properly so that I can see you people. Then there comes the allotment of shares. Once all the things have been done, now allot the shares. Allotment means whosoever has applied for the shares, just give them the allotment. Like Ria have applied for 4 shares, let her give the 4 shares. Prakshal is a rich person, he has applied for 50 shares, let him give the 50 shares. So accordingly, you will be allotting shares in, but take keeping in mind the maximum number which you can allot. Okay. Okay. So this was the procedure of capital subscription. Then prospectus, we have already learned what is prospectus or what is statement on law of prospectus. And I told you the fourth and the last step or the stage in the formation of companies, commencement of business or the certificate of commencement of business, which is being given to the public company so that public company can now actually work for the commencement. Some things again have to be, deposited by the company to the ROC. Once it is being done, the company can start its business after getting the certificate of commencement of business. Now let us see the difference between MOA and AOA. This is very important. It can come in 5 to 6 marks, that what is the difference between MOA and AOA. Priyansh, yes, because you have already appointed them, so you have to give them the commission. Underwriters commission is to be paid whether the underwriters are used or not, because एक तरह से you have given them clause ना, तो appoint तो कर ही लिया था. Now MOA versus AOA. First of all, the objectives, on the basis of objective. But MOA is of course the main document, principal document, and AOA is the subsidiary document. MOA basically defines the objects of the company. It defines the objects of the company for which company is being formed. But AOA defines the rules of internal management. AOA defines the rules of internal management, that how you have to work internally in your company. The second is position. What is the position of MOA? MOA is, of course, I told you it's the main document of the company. So it subordinates to the Companies Act. जो Companies Law 2013 है. Earlier that was Companies Law 1956, but now it is Companies Law 2013. तो जो बेटे Companies Law 2013 है, उसका lower version है MOA, जो हम खुद बनाते हैं. मतलब it's subordinate to MOA. It's subordinate to Companies Law. But AOA is basically the subsidiary document. Yes, secondary document है, MOA से छोटा, and it's subordinate to MOA and Companies Act. वो MOA का subordinate है basically. ठीक, तो MOA आपका main document है. Memorandum of Association is of course the main document, but Articles of Association is the subsidiary document, is the secondary document, right? Then third is the relationship. That what is the relationship of MOA and AOA? MOA basically defines the relationship of company with the outsiders. Because if outsiders want to check out the information of the company, they will just check out our MOA. So MOA basically defines the relationship of company with the outsiders. But what does AOA do? AOA defines the relationship of members and the company, that how internally management would be done. So it defines the relationship of members with the company. Now next is validity. Acts beyond MOA is invalid. Whatever is written in MOA, you have to just work according to that. In any case, if you are not working as per your MOA, it will be an invalid contract, and definitely necessary action can be taken on the company by the ROC or the company's law, right? So you have to basically work as per the MOA only. For example, if I say that the main object of the company, whatever is the object of the company which is mentioned in MOA, that company will be doing such thing, the company can do only that such thing. If company is working other than what is being mentioned on in MOA, definitely it will be invalid. It will not be lawful. It will be invalid, and necessary action can be taken against the company because it is not following its own memorandum of association. But whereas acts beyond AOA can be ratified. Ratify का meaning बेटे यहाँ पर होता है clear या corrected. So acts beyond AOA can be corrected by the members provided they do not violate MOA. अगर आपने AOA के अगेंस्ट जाके कोई काम किया तो वो चल जाएगा, बस आपने MOA के अगेंस्ट जाके कोई काम ना किया हो. So MOA is the main principal document. You have to check out, you have to see that you should not work against the MOA. एक बार को AOA के against जाएंगे, articles के against जाएंगे, चल जाएगा. But you should not go beyond the limits of MOA, because MOA is the main document which represents your company with the outsiders, to the outsiders. Next is on the basis of necessity. Let's see कि on the basis of necessity क्या difference है दोनों में. Every company has to file MOA, whether that is the private company or that is the public company. Every company has to file memorandum of association. Each and every company has to file memorandum of association. But when it comes to AOA, not necessary for public company. I told you that public company is not required to make AOA, its own AOA. Company can have its own AOA. Otherwise, in the table A, there is a ready-made articles of association mentioned by the company's law. So if any company is not able to, find out the own articles, the company can go to adopt table A. Company can lead to adopt table A only. वो table A adopt कर सकते हैं, और जैसे ही table A वो adopt करेंगे तो उनके ऊपर वो वाले articles apply हो जाएंगे. ठीक? Okay, third point. Once you can just listen to third point once again. There is a query. Relationship. MOA defines the relationship of company with the outsiders. Any outsider, if want to get to know the information of the company, it will just have the MOA of the company, and it can just, look at that and grab the information. Of course, MOA will be stating out all the major points, that how the company is going to work and everything. But AOA defines the relationship of members and the company, because articles of association are the internal rules. When there are these are the internal rules, so definitely it basically defines the relationship of members and the company only. We were doing the last point now, alteration. Alteration here means alteration of MOA is difficult and approval of statutory authority is required. Here statutory means legal authority. See, you cannot alter MOA. Alter मतलब होता है change करना. मैंने आपको बताया था MOA को change करना बहुत मुश्किल है. It's very difficult, and legal authority is required, and sometimes legally law doesn't allow you to change the MOA, because whatever MOA you have formed, you have to lead with that only. So it's very difficult to change or to alter the MOA. But articles can be altered. Articles are of course internal rules only, so they can be altered, they can be changed by passing a special resolution by the members. एक special resolution pass करके आप मीटिंग करके, जनरल मीटिंग करके, स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन पास करके, you can definitely go for the changing of articles. I told you that there are two kinds of resolutions: ordinary resolution and special resolution. मैंने आपको ऑब्जेक्ट वाले टाइम पे बताया था, ordinary resolution and special resolution. Can anyone please tell me, raise your hands, that what are ordinary resolutions and what are the special resolutions? Anybody would want to explain that what are special resolution and what are ordinary resolutions? No? Okay. But a ordinary resolution, where we simply say majority should be there, 51% of voting should be in the favor. But special resolution, 100% voting should be in the favor. So if you want to change the articles, pass the special resolution, 100% favor point should be there. If 100% is in the favor, you can change the internal articles of the company. I hope this is clear to everyone. So by this way, we have now completed the chapter, and we have done complete stages which are required to formation of the company. Now we have to start the chapter number 3, which will be starting in the next class. So I hope now this is clear to everyone. You all have now understood that how a company can be formed, because of course many of you will be company secretary in the future. Maybe some of you can be the lawyer, or you can be associated with the company. So you must know that what is the procedure of starting up of a company. So procedure we have already studied, that what are the stages which are required to form a private company or even to require to form a public company, right? Clear to everyone?